Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and a big thank you for tuning into today's video. So also I'd like to say happy Foot Down Friday to the drivers who are out and about, if you're on your break watching the video, whatever. But yeah, so I've been saying for a couple of weeks that I'm going to put a video up of how to use the lifting equipment on a rolling off. Now, I've made that video so many times and so many different people have cocked it up because they've either rang me and I forgot to put my phone on flight mode, or they've come over waffling absolute garbage to me whilst I've been trying to record and do what I'm doing. So yeah, it's got a little bit frustrating, but now I've got nobody around me other than two people over there who are a bit busy doing what they're doing, and I've got a lad here who works at the yard where I'm at doing what he's doing, so hopefully no one's going to bother me now. So I just want to show you guys, just for future reference, especially the ones who want to come into the waste of the scrap game and you want to drive a rolling off, you want to drive an 8-wheeler. That's literally what I wanted to do straight away. I knew that once I passed my test, I wanted to drive a rolling off. So this is a video to help you guys, basically educate you, show you what you're going to be doing on the job. Now, the lifting system that I've got on my truck is from a company called Hyva, H-Y-V-A. There's a couple of different companies like Edbro and Jost. I'm pretty sure Jost is part of Edbro, but don't quote me on that. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to reverse up to the bin using my mirrors. So I'm going to use the mirrors to get myself nice and parallel. Well, not parallel, but a nice and straight up against the bin. So once the sides of your truck are sort of perfectly in line with the bin, then you can just look through your back window, and you can look through your back window and then sort of negotiate where your hook's got to go. So when I was mentioning Hyva then, the reason behind it is it's a little bit different to the Edbro systems that I've used. See, the Hyva system, they have an extra button and a switch on just to open your Easy Sheet system. So on a normal rolling off, that's got Edbro or whatever, you wouldn't have to do that. You just literally, quite simply, just reset everything so it's all back to how it would be. So on the Edbro, you don't have to boom anything out. It's just literally lift, eject, locks, things like that. But I'll show you step by step how to actually pick the bin up now. So like I say, I've reversed up to the bin using my mirrors, so now I'm nice and straight against the back of the truck. Now if I look through my back window, and I'll let you guys have a look as well, so from there it looks like the hook's under. However, don't always count on that because that might not be the case. So I'm going to show you the controls quickly. Keep your eyes off my sandwich. That's my sandwich and only my sandwich. So you've got your controls here, which will be Easy Sheet, and then you switch between the Easy Sheet and the hook. You've got a button for your locks. Just cover all this crap here. My truck is an absolute stink pot inside, I do apologise. So you got number 2 there, which is for your locks, and then number 1, which is for your stabiliser jacks, which is 2 hydraulic presses that basically come down, press against your leaf springs in case you're lifting a really heavy bin up, and obviously you don't want the truck lifting up, so you put your stabiliser jacks down. I've never really used them other than once where I accidentally pressed it down with my elbow, sent the jacks down, drove back from EMR with a full load on and blew the seal out of it. So that was a bit of an idiot moment. It was an accident, and accidents do happen. So it's been repaired now, but just to take note, try and always, when you're putting everything back, just make sure you pulled both of these two up. Well, especially that one, to make sure they're up, and then you want to make sure that you've pulled that up to make sure your locks are on. So your locks are actually, I'll show you those now. Your locks are, have a look. So these are the locks here, which come out and in to lock onto the rails on the bottom of the bin. And another tip I'm going to give you is, if you can see the hook here, you want to make sure, this is why I say when you've lifted the bin up about 3 foot, when you're first lifting up, you want to make sure by getting out your cab and just looking that the hook's gone under there rather than under there. because if it goes under here it'll still lift the bin up, but it'll end up dropping it on your back lights, and you do not want to do that. So again, bits of equipment that are on the back of the truck to assist it rolling up. Obviously you've got your rails on your bin here at the bottom, so they're going to sit on the inside of these rollers. They're then going to roll as the hook's bringing it up. You've got another set of rollers here, which you've got to keep on top of greasing these as well, guys, because they do seize up. Another set of rollers, and then you've just got two guide plates here, and the same on the other side. So what I'm going to do now is shut my door, because as per usual there is an old man, looks like he's coming over to start mithering me. So the next step is going to be to engage your PTO. Now that's assuming that you've got yourself in this position with your hook all the way back, but I'll show you how to do that. So your PTO is this button here. Now the logo's been rubbed off it because I obviously pressed that a hell of a lot throughout the day. So we'll turn that on, and then if you look on the dash there, you will see that there is a little yellow emblem that's just lit up that looks like a car chassis with the wheels turned to the right there, what I describe as a little lollipop on the side. That's letting you know that your PTO's on. There we go. Sorry, someone's just come over talking to me again, so I've had to stop, and now we're back. So yeah, so your PTO's on. A little tip: if you've got a manual truck, do not take your revs over 1500 RPM. If you do that, you're going to risk damaging the engine and the gearbox. If you've got an automatic, most automatic trucks these days actually have a rev limiter, so when you've got the PTO in, they'll only let you rev up so far, which prevents damage to the engine, which is a good little thing. But like I say, on a lot of the manual wagons I've drove, especially the skip trucks, the chain skip trucks, they don't actually have a rev limiter on them, the ones that I've driven. I don't know if there's newer ones have. I've not really driven any new skip trucks. So now I've got the PTO on anyway. If I put my foot down to the floor, I'll show you now. That's my foot to the floor, and that is all it will allow me to rev the truck to. It's not even up to 1500 RPM. So the next thing you want to do is boom your easy sheet out. So again, sorry for all the grabbing of the camera. Again, we've got the PTO on, so now we can use this. Now this is switched to easy sheet, and that's for your easy sheet. So if you look in the mirror, you should see two bars now, or you should see the bar boom out. There you go. So all I did then was put my foot to the floor and then lifted this lever, which has pushed the easy sheet out, and now I can flick the switch to move on to using the lifting. So this all controls the locks, the stabilizer jacks, lifting the bin and pulling the bin on. So we've got the bar open now, so we've got the easy sheet bar open. Like I say, we've flipped over to the hook. Like I say, on a lot of trucks that have got like Edbro lifting gear, you don't have to do this procedure, so this wouldn't be here, it'd just sort of be these ones. So what I'm going to do is because I know the hook's under the bin, I'm going to lift it now, which will be pulling this towards me. So as you can see, that's just yanked the bin up. Now what I was saying about making sure that tipping hook is underneath the bar, just get out your cab like this, grab hold of your handrail, have a look round, and it is definitely under the bar. And like I say, it is super important to do that, because the amount of people I've seen get under the bin and they're in a bit of a rush, and then they just sort of, you know, do it all dead quick, and you know, be sat there pulling the bin on, yeah, everything's great, and the next thing you just hear an almighty bang, and then the bin's sat on the back of the truck and they're going, oh shit. So to save yourself going, oh shit, just always have a look. Don't matter if you've been doing it 5 minutes, 5 years or 50 years. Like my gaffer, the guy's 70 odd and he still gets out of his cab and looks every time he does that. So now all I'm going to do is pull the lever all the way back towards me. I'm going to release the handbrake, and I'm just going to keep my foot to the floor, and that is going to draw the bin on. So now the bin is being pulled up. Try and do this with one hand. There we go. So obviously the camera's not going to zoom in excuse me, that great, but we want those rails to perfectly sit against the road. There we go, that's perfect. So then we'll just pull it on. Just as the bin's about to make contact with the bed, take the revs off, and that'll put it down nice and gently like that, rather than a big wallop. And then make sure your locks are open, press that down. This lever now is going to bring the bin towards the back of the cab. So again, revs, pull the lever towards you. Perfect. And then we want to lock the locks. There you go. Then flick over to the sheet. Draw the sheet back in. And then last but not least, because it's very important, make sure you turn the PTO off. The amount of people I've heard that have drove off with a PTO still engaged in a manual wagon and got halfway down the road and then the gearbox has failed on the truck is ridiculous. Every time you put a bin on, don't forget to put your handbrake back on, like I've just done. And then what we want to do now is just have a walk round, make sure everything's on, make sure the locks are locked onto the bin, and then when we unlock them they'll draw back out. So there's that done, and that is how you put a bin on. Now I'm going to keep the video recording whilst I just put this bin back down, because I need to put this is the empty one that I brought this scrapyard, so I'm doing an exchange. So obviously I brought them an empty bin and I will be exchanging that for a full bin, which I've already done and put outside. And I was recording doing that bit, so that was the footage you would have seen, but then someone come over waffling again and I forgot to press pause, and there you go. So now got a nice tight lovely gap to put this bin in. So once again, all I'm going to do, get the truck in position, and then it's the same procedure just in reverse. So rather than pulling the levers towards me, I'm going to be pushing them away from me. Rather than pulling things up, I'm going to be pushing them down. So it's just pretty much an exact replica of what you've just done to pick it up, but you're doing everything in reverse because you're putting it back down. Reverse right up the side of his scrap pile here. Probably blow all my tyres out again because they don't sweep up properly. So again, I'm going to turn the PTO on. Make sure the truck's in neutral if you've got an automatic, otherwise the PTO won't engage if you're in drive or reverse. So PTO's in, gotta open the easy sheet again, flip the switch, open the locks. Don't forget to do that because you're putting the bin down. If you keep them locks on, you'll end up snapping either the rails on the bin or ripping your locks off, and that will probably be a very, very disastrous, expensive scenario. So make sure you put your locks off, and then to put the bin down, you're going to want to push the bin all the way back off the back to the back as far as it will go. So you're going to be using lever number 3, which is the one furthest to the back of the cab. Now, as you can see, that has gone back as far as it will go. It will not go back any further. So if I try and push it, it's not going to move. Now we can eject it. So use this one, eject the bin off like that. And then once you feel the back wheels touch the floor, you should feel the truck nudge. Hopefully the camera will pick the truck up, like nudging forward. Like now, there we go. And then what we want to do, now that I know the back wheels of the bin are on the floor, I'm going to let the handbrake off and then continue to push the lever away from me, keep my foot to the floor. And there you have it, putting the bin down. So as I'm talking to you now, you can probably see just in the corner there, the bin's on its way down. Excuse me. Notice that every time I'm recording I get a bit of bunged up in my throat constantly. You know what that is, don't you? Smoking dirty cigarettes, which I need to stop doing. If anybody's managed to successfully quit smoking and you'd like to give me some advice on how to do it, because I've tried and tried and tried to no avail, there we go. Drop it in the comments below if you've got any advice, any good books I could read, or, and you know, I've got one of them douche flute vape things, but I don't really like using them because I just associate them with idiots. No offence if you vape, but I don't mind people who do it physically or specifically for stopping smoking, but it's when you see these guys with a beanie hat on this big and a beard down here and they're like, hey man, check out my tropical fusion, and then they just go and then just and they don't even smoke, half of them. Like, oh, how's that helping you stop smoking? Oh, I've never smoked, man, smoking's bad for the soul. And then he'll go and proceed to rip out a big joint and fire that up. Okay. But anyway, we're not talking about stuff like that, we're talking about trucks. So, now I'm backing up to my heavy bin, my full one. Again, use the mirrors, get the truck in line, and then use the back window to make sure that your hook's under the bar. Now, again, I'll lift it up. I'm going to get out and have a look. There you go. So the hook is definitely underneath the bar. Like I say, I do that every single bin I pick up. Yeah, it gets a bit of a pain in the ass. Sometimes you put your seatbelt on because you're getting a bit giddy, and you have to take your seatbelt back off to swing out the cab. But better safe than sorry. So I've got a mixed load on here. I've got car shells and cast iron engines, which is just. See, because I kept the revs on, the bang then, that was because I kept the revs on. When the bin gets so far to the body, just let the revs off. And that's why the truck's just done that, is because I kept the revs down. Make sure the locks are open. Draw the bin towards you, so you should be able to see in the camera now the bin's coming towards me. Yep, and that's as far as it'll go. So now I'm going to pull my lever up for my locks. Flick the switch for the easy sheet, bring the easy sheet back in, turn your PTO off, and it's as simple as that. Now when you're tipping, it's pretty much the same procedure, but you only eject your bin back 3 to 4 feet. And what that does is it prevents whatever you're tipping from falling straight out onto your back lights. So when you're tipping a load, you're going to want to do that procedure which I've just shown you. So open your easy sheet if you've got a Hiver system, and then you're going to want to unlock your locks, boom your bin back about 3-4 feet like I say. Make sure it's got a good overhang over the back of the wagon, and that way then nothing's going to fall out and damage the back of your truck. Then you want to lock your locks again, because you're tipping, you want to keep that bin in position. You don't want to keep your locks off while you're tipping, because if you're tipping on uneven ground and a piece of scrap or a big bunch of waste or whatever you're hauling decides to fall to one side and it nudges the bin over and you're already on uneven ground, you're going to risk having the truck either flip over or the bin become dislodged off the back of your wagon, and obviously you really do not want to do that. So that's why you must keep your locks on when you're tipping, and when you're taking the bin off, make sure you take your locks off, because again, once that bin goes on the floor, the locks are still on the rails of the bin. You imagine the hook's trying to push the bin off the back of the truck and push the bin away from the truck, yet it's still connected by the clamp, so that will cause some really bad damage to your truck, to your vehicle, whatever you want to call it. So now I'm just going to pull up and have my 45-minute break. I usually only have half an hour and I have a 15 minutes in the morning, but today I'm having a 45-minute break. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. There we go. So that was pretty much it, guys. That is how you put a bin on and how you take one off, and also how to tip. Like I say, eject the bin back, lock the locks. You're going to go around the side, open your back door, secure your back door to the other side of the bin, which will usually be a bar or some rope that you'll have, or whatever, a strap, and then you can tip your load, shut your back door, do the whole procedure in reverse, get the bin drew back behind the cab, lock your locks, put your easy sheet in, turn your PTO off, Bob's your uncle, and then you've done it. So I hope this video was helpful to some of you guys. Like I say, this is why I make these videos, is to try and help people who haven't really got a clue what they're doing, or what they're getting themselves into. So I'm trying to, spread a bit of awareness and show you know, anybody who's interested in watching actually what we do on this job, being the scrap or waste, very similar job. Yeah, if you did like the video, please like and subscribe to the channel, and that spurs me on to make more and more content for you guys to watch. So I'd just like to add as well very quickly, hopefully when I get home tonight I will have some goodies for you guys to post out if the delivery man's been. And also this weekend I am going to start getting some car footage out of me doing work on my Lexus, which is a 2002 IS300 with a 2JZ engine from the factory. So it's a non-turbo Supra engine essentially. Over the next probably year I'm going to be turboing it, I'm going to be manual swapping it, I'm going to be changing the suspension, changing the brakes, I'm going to be painting the calipers, I'm going to be doing so much exciting work to the car. I have already replicated all of that work on my old Lexus that I sold a couple of years back, and I didn't video any of it, which was absolutely devastating when I'd nearly finished the car and one of my mates said, should have put all that on YouTube. So I've gone out and bought another Lexus to do it all over again. So anybody who's already subscribed and who has friends who are into cars, you know, please like and share, and you know, tell your mates about what I'm doing, and hopefully we can get a big, you know, a larger following. Obviously the more followers I get, the more success the channel does, the more I can give back to you guys. So like I say, hopefully today I'll have a few parcels at home that I can send out to a few of you guys, and I will be doing a competition probably Monday next week, which is the 19th I think. I'll do a competition, probably guess the weight, something like that, and then whoever gets closest to it, I'll have like 3 main prizes. So yeah, I'll give some stuff away to you guys out of my own pocket at the moment, but hopefully if we keep picking up we might be able to get a little bit of money off YouTube, maybe, hopefully. So yeah, thanks for watching the channel, and I shall see you on the next one. Take care guys, and have a great weekend as well.